Okay, welcome to Mike Finds Things. The video you're about to watch, I actually filmed yesterday and I uploaded it to YouTube, but did not hit public. I had it set to go public next week. And unfortunately, since doing that, I've got news that Mike Nesmith of the Monkees has unfortunately passed away. In the video, I do find several Monkees records, including a Monkee songbook as well, not necessarily a record, that I got at a local estate sale. So that's in the video. Of course, in the video, I'm not mentioning him passing because he hadn't passed at that point. So what I'd like to do is really dedicate this edition of Mike Finds Things to Mike Nesmith, who was a great songwriter, singer. He produced movies. He did a lot of things in his life. Of course, he's best known for being a member of the Monkees. Uh, feel what you will. I'm a big fan of the Monkees. I know some people feel, well, they were like a manufactured band and all that, but you gotta respect them. You gotta respect their music, and you gotta respect the fact that they are an important part of 60s rock and roll and pop music, and also 60s television as well as comedy. So I'm not going to go further into that. We're going to go into the video right now, which, like I said, we are dedicating in memory of Mike Nesmith, who unfortunately passed away. And I literally just got this news a couple hours ago. So let's go into the video. Hi, and welcome to another edition of Mike Finds Things. That's where I go out and find records. It started as a collectibles channel, but it kind of turned into a records channel. So that's kind of what I say, even though it really actually started as a record channel, because like the first videos I posted was records. So it could be anything, but obviously we're doing mainly records now. One of the guys on that viewed the channel, one of the viewers, Hugh McGinnis, he commented on the video of the stuff from the LA County estate auction, which I didn't have a whole lot of hope for because the lot was kind of cheap. I kind of got it because I already had to go down there to pick up a bunch of 45s. I bought it in the same auction. He noted there was a couple records I missed that I just assumed weren't anything. They turned out to be something. He looked up the values, and I unfortunately the values I got off Discogs didn't quite weren't quite up to what they said on what he found. But it's Quartet Tres Bien with Boss Tres Bien. It's in really good condition. It's got some. This one actually has a scratch on it, but it looks like it'll play fine. So not like super amazing condition, but these sell for, depending on which disc, because it has two different listings for the same pressing, which happens a lot on Discogs. It goes between 5 and 28 and 4 and 22, depending on. And this record's from 1964. It's a jazz LP, and so it actually is worth something. So we took it out of the stuff with the Doris Day and the Perry Comos and stuff like that. He also noticed there was another one called Spring to Spring by Quartet Tres Bien as well. Fortunately, this one someone wrote The Beatles and then crossed it out. So that definitely affects the value. It does not make it a Beatles album by writing the Beatles on your album. Sorry. This one's from 1965. Goes between 4 and 7. It's in pretty good shape. Unfortunately, he didn't put inner sleeves on a lot of his records, and obviously the condition suffered thus. But those were from the other video, which I guess when I was just flipping through, he happened to spot them. So I thought I'd call him out and say, hey, thanks. We found that one and moved it over. I'll see what I can do with that one. I went to a few estate sales and yard sales the past week. Also, I picked up a killer lot of 78s, which are going to be in their own video coming up. Like, absolutely amazing stuff. Doo-wop, like early R&B, like the stuff you want to find on 78. It's not like the early blues stuff that's worth like a fortune, but in the 50s stuff, it's the stuff you want to find on 78, and that'll be coming up in a future. I'm going to make it its own video because there's just enough there to make it its own video. In fact, it's probably going to be a pretty long video on its own. Found some Monkees at a local estate sale, starting with more of the Monkees souvenir. Not a record, but I actually got the record too. Souvenir songbook of more of the Monkees album, and it's got like pictures of the Monkees, like promotional shots, and the music. These sell, I've seen people asking on eBay between $18 and $50 for this one. eBay is weird for asking prices on anything. It's not worth $50. I mean, it's probably a $10 or $15 piece, let's face it. But I got that, and at the same one I got Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, and Jones. I have another copy of this. This one of the lots I posted. I think it was the $30 lot. I think there was one of these in there. This one's from '67. It's a mono pressing. All the Monkey stuff I got was mono. These, like I said, these were from an estate sale, maybe like 10 minutes from here. We also got this one still has the plastic kind of hanging on for dear life. Monkees' first album. This isn't the one with the misprint. On some of these they misprinted the word Gene with a J, and this one has the correct G in Gene. From 1966. This one goes between 3 and 25 on Discogs. Those are like sold prices on Disc. I don't know if I'm going to really use. I'm finding Discogs prices sometimes aren't even. I like to use them because there are sold prices when they have the sold prices, but I'm finding like in some other places you'll find that they sold for more or less. So I don't really know. Obviously, anything like vintage, it's really up to the person or what you think you're going to get for it. Obviously, you're not going to look online and see sold prices at swap meets or record sales or anything like that. This was from '67. It's a mono pressing of the Monkees headquarters. This was like towards the end of the Monkees. Not quite to the Head album, but, and of course the Monkees came back years later, so someone's probably going to tell me that, but of course they did come back years later several times. This one online says between $1 and 15. I mean, I think for a Monkees album it has to be pretty bad for it to be $1. Like, it has to be in destroyed condition, and these are good playable condition. They're not destroyed. And then here's that more of the Monkees 1967 mono. It sells for between $1 and 9. And this is the actual record album. And these were all monos. So, I don't know. Got those. They aren't crazy, super valuable Monkees albums, but they're the Monkees. People like the Monkees. I like the Monkees. It was always a fun show. Another estate sale. It was more like a yard sale. It's not a estate sale, but I wonder if it was more like a yard sale. It was just stuff out in front. This guy had a book. He said he had records, so I went over there. He had like a book of 70. We had a bunch of different. He had the classical like 12-inch 78 shellac books that, of course, that generally most of those have no value because they're all classical. He had one book of 10-inch shellac, and it had a couple interesting records. So I got the book for like $10. There's also some Victrola records, early stuff in there, like the actual Victor branded ones, which people do want for their Victrola. The two most interesting ones that were in there. I bought these sleeves, by the way, so they weren't in these sleeves. It was actually in the book. This one is Bailey's Lucky 7, Foolish Child with No Nora on Gennett. So we found that really rare Gennett one a few weeks ago at a thrift store. This one's not quite as rare. The only sold comp I could find on this was, I believe it was on Pop Psych. It sold for $20 back in like 2017, if I remember right. But still, that jazz on early jazz on 78, still popular. That was from 1923. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. Also, this one's 1923 maybe, and that Bailey's Lucky 7 supposedly had members of the Memphis 5. So this one's actually the Memphis 5 on one side on Harmonograph or whatever is Harmograph Records. I couldn't find this particular exact record for sale, or anybody else that has a copy of this one. The other side has Carolina Home by Glantz and his orchestra. Has that. I did find that this side, I believe, was recorded in 1923, and it was on a different record, so it's probably reused on this as just as a B-side filler. So this one might be a couple years after 1923. And, I mean, for a 78, I don't want to mess this thing up. But for a 78, this thing is like clean. So I did find that. That was in that same album. I always like to find interesting early 78, especially jazz, blues. I would love to find early blues that's worth money, but I haven't come across anything that's like super crazy valuable. So there. Okay, so went to that sale. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out the order of this. It doesn't really matter, but I did go to another estate sale by me. This was probably 10 minutes from me. I actually went over there when they opened. They had a line. It actually had a bunch of Christmas stuff if you looked on their listing online. I'm like, well, I don't want to go to that. I don't want a bunch of Christmas stuff. And I started scrolling down. They had records. So I went over there at opening. There was a line. I couldn't do it. I had to go meet up with a guy who was buying the Buick that I got. That video is going to be on the other channel this week, hopefully, of the Buick I bought and then I sold. that I got from another estate sale. That'll be on, like I said, the other channel. If you look in the link, I have an automotive channel. That's my original YouTube channel, if you don't know. I bought 3 records there. I also bought a cool toy van, which I should have had with me so I could show you. Maybe I could, if I remember, I'll overlay the picture of the toy van. It's like a General Telephone van. I got everything for like 14 bucks. The van alone goes for like 20 to 30 online. It's in really nice shape, and the decals are all there, which is, and there's a little plastic ladder that I'm sure goes missing a lot. And it's a toy, it's a bank. So you can actually put money in it. It's like a piggy bank shaped like a van, because I like old vans if you've ever watched my other channel. So there you go. This one is The Cure, Why Can't I Be You? It's a 7-inch single with the picture sleeve in good condition. And this one sells between $5 and $18, because you can imagine there's a lot of people that collect Cure stuff. And I think that's a cool find. This is from the estate sale where I got everything for 14, including the van. So that alone is basically probably paying for the whole lot. And this was neat. I knew exactly what it was. In fact, when I took it up to the lady, she's like, "What is that?" And I said, "It's like the band from Showbiz Pizza." So it's the Rockafire Explosion 7-inch single. It has "Do You Love Me?" So I'm guessing it's the Contours' "Do You Love Me?" and a birthday song on the other side. From 1981. Depending on which page I've seen people online asking between 40 and 50 on eBay for this. On Discogs, it says it sold for 450 to 15. I'm not sure how many of them survived. This thing, like the sleeve is like perfect. The record is so nice. I don't think it's been played. Obviously, it's a kid's record. They get, this is what kids got when they got their skee ball tickets and went up and got this record. They took it home and they destroyed this thing. And this one is absolutely, this is like more like a cardboard than a paper sleeve. And it's all there. I mean, so I can't imagine there's too many of them out there in this condition. But it's kind of neat, because if you look online, there's always videos of people who have the Rockafire Explosion set up in their house or their warehouse, and they program it to like play different songs. So look those videos up later. They're pretty cool if you haven't checked those out. But it's cool to find that 7-inch. Now this is neat. This is the only LP I got at this sale. This one's for $59. The regular version sells between $2 and $57. This is a promo copy. It's comped at 12 to 26. And it's really clean on Discogs. That's hard to comp on a promo because obviously there's a lot less. Fleetwood's Mr. Blue. And it's like super nice. You can see it's stamped promotional copy, not for sale. And it was missing the inner sleeve, but the record looks like it was never played or played very rarely. And it is a white label promo of Mr. Blue. So I was definitely not Mr. Blue when I found that one. So I got that one. That was a killer find. Great, great 1959 pop song and pop album. And I mean, it's like I said, you can see it's in really nice, the jacket, everything's in really nice condition. Okay, so I was literally on the way home from that sale. This is the day I went and sold the Buick. This was like a crazy day. I'm driving, I get off the freeway, I'm driving down the main road to get back to my house, the main drag, and I see a sign for another estate sale that I didn't know about. See where this is going. So I go there. And this was like blocks from my house, a estate sale I didn't even know about. And I'm like, "You got any he had some records. I looked through them. And this other girl's like, I was asking, "Oh, you have any other records?" The lady's like, that was just there at the estate sale buying stuff. She's like, "Oh, if you go in the back there, there's like those books full of records." I'm like 78? She's like, "Yeah, like 78s. So I got a few 78s. They were like $1. I think I paid $5 for all these. I think there was like 6 total. Actually, I got a Suspicious Minds 45 as well, just because, but I didn't leave that in the stack. I'm sure you know what Suspicious Minds looks like. I'm 45. I got a 1944 country record. This one is Al Dexter and His Troopers. I'm Losing My Mind Over You with I'll Wait For You, Dear. And this one has sold between 5 and 7 on Discogs. Which means on eBay, they're probably asking like $50 for it. That's usually how eBay works. So in fact, those other 78s I bought this morning, the guy got tired of listing them on eBay and not selling them. And like a lot of them, he wrote the prices of what they should go for, he thinks. And they were like way out of whack. So I'll have the whole story in that video, but it's kind of interesting, and it might turn into more records because the guy has more he's going through. Another neat one from that same sale. This one, people are asking $475 to $12 on Discogs, and they're asking $30 for it on eBay. This is Blues on My Weary Mind, Earl Hines and the Sextet on Apollo Records. It's a jazz record. It's one of those, I got the blues, and I'll get it, or I'll get by is the B-side on that one. Great, now the sun's coming out. It was like raining all day. I thought, I'll go film this while it's kind of like dreary, and now I got the sun in my eye. Well, let's just finish this video. Let's get through this. It's kind of how it is. Okay, we got this one I got because it's a known song. Depending on which page you land on Discogs, it's either 3 to 5 or 7 to 8 are the comps. Lefty Frizzell, if you've got the money, I've got the time. You know that song. It's been redone I don't know how many times. This is the original. It's in great condition. It plays wonderfully. That was one of the ones I got from there. And it's in the original Columbia sleeve, which is kind of nice. So that was a good pickup. This one, the only comp I could found is it sold for $14.35 on Discogs. That's the only one I could find that sold on there. 1950. If you want some lovin', just let me know. Dude Martin and his Roundup Gang. So what kind of music do you think that is? Oh, it's definitely a surf record. No, it's of course it's country music. And it wouldn't be the same without you as the other side on Mercury. Yeah, it's got a Mercury sleeve that's like falling apart, but it's a Mercury sleeve nonetheless. I grabbed this one. It wasn't really worth anything. I grabbed it because I thought it would be, but it's from 1956. It's Fess Parker in Walt Disney's Westwood Ho! The Wagons with Ringle Wrangle and the Ballad of John Colter. So it's not Davy Crockett, but it's the guy that played Davy Crockett, and it's probably one of the early Disneyland records. And it's actually in pretty good shape. It's got what's left of the original picture sleeve. I grabbed it thinking it would be something because it's one of the early Disneylands. It's actually in really good shape for a 78. It's probably not worth a few bucks, but still, it's an early piece of Disneyland Records history, so why not? Let's see, some thrift store stuff. Okay, let's see where I'm just all over the place here. We got some thrift store stuff here. There was a new thrift store that opened up. I guess last year I didn't even know about it. It was like it's in a spot that if you don't know it's there, you miss it on pretty much on Colorado Boulevard here in Pasadena on the main road, Old Route 66. And somebody posted on Nextdoor about that store, so I better go check it out. And I go look at the LPs, and it doesn't say what anything is or anything. And second LP I see is Meet the Beatles. Now, of course, I didn't buy it, but I'm like, why is this here and no one's grabbed it yet? So I went up to the counter. I said, how much are the records? Before I brought it up. Oh, they're individually priced on the back and the lower corner. And I about had a heart attack. I go over, turn around, look at the lower corner, $80, $79.99. I was like, oh my God. So I looked through all the records. Obviously, I didn't buy it for $80. That's one way to make sure people aren't going to come back to your thrift stores is ask a lot of money for a Beatles record. But I did buy a record there because I figured this place is so close to my house. I figured I'll buy one that way they kind of remember me, and if I ever go in there and do buy other records that are more reasonably priced. Another thing is they put one of those stickers, one of those little, the ones that you use the little thing for, on the back. And you know how hard those are to get off? And that you're going to mess up the album cover? I mean, think about it here, guys. Like, you work at thrift stores. If you think you're going to get a lot of money for a record, you're going to put that on there? Like, that's like destroying the album cover. Thanks. But I did find, in the wrong sleeve, but I found a copy of the Dupree's You Belong to Me. I paid $2 for it, which is probably actually what it's worth. But I figure I'll buy something that way. Maybe they remember me next time as the guy that buys records, and maybe I'll get some perks out of it. I kind of doubt it. But this one's from '62, obviously a doo-wop classic from '62. It's actually in really nice condition. I was like, I better grab it. So let's see here. We're going to get some. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, so I went over the other day. The guy finally picked up the Buick. And afterwards, I decided I go hit a Goodwill near where my old shop was in North Hollywood and see what they had just for the heck of it because I had some time to kill. And I did find 3 good records there. which is amazing because I never find anything at a Goodwill because they're usually they want $3 a record, and usually there's nothing in there that I really want. I found from 1982, this sells between 2 and 19, 12-inch single of Yaz. For all of our visitors, viewers from the UK, that's Yazoo. In the US, they were Yaz because there was already a band called Yazoo. I guess it was a country band, so they had to rename themselves Yaz. It's Situation, 12-inch single. It's in really nice condition. Great, now I'm getting the sun there. But those are always worth picking up for a few bucks. I always say grab those 12-inch, especially if it's stuff that people know, like Yaz or Yazoo for our UK viewers. From 1987, this is going to my buddy because he likes early old hip hop and stuff. Goes between 3 and 18. It's Two Live Crew, Get It Girl, 12-inch single. So everybody remembers Two Live Crew. They were like in a lot of trouble for their explicit lyrics back then. And I was actually on the phone with my buddy just talking to him while I was going through the record. I was like, hey, you like Two Live Crew? He's like, yeah. I go, you want a 12-inch single? He's like, yeah. So I'm just going to give it to him. But that's pretty cool. I told him I had to put it in the video before I gave it to him, though. And then the third record I got, this Goodwill, which, like I said, in LA, Goodwill is horrible for thrift storing. I see these guys with these thrift store vinyl videos. They're in the middle of nowhere. They're like, oh, my local Goodwill is like 99 cents, and I find stuff all the time. And this is not the case where I live. I found Neil Diamond. It's the Brother Loves Travel and Salvation Show LP with Sweet Caroline also on it. Pack Up the Babies, Grab the Old Ladies, because this is an awesome record. This one, believe it or not, sells between 3 and 30. I mean, usually Neil Diamond, you think, oh, it's Neil Diamond. This one, I guess this variation is actually pretty sought after, I guess, 3 to 30, which is really strong for a Neil Diamond record, in my opinion. It's got plastic on it, which helped the sleeve. They had a Shiloh, which like this, but it had the connect the dots, and someone actually connected the dots. So I didn't grab that one. The record's in really nice condition. I do like Neil Diamond. You find them a lot at thrift stores. Usually not in this condition. And Brother Loves Travel and Salvation Show is probably my favorite song anyway by Neil Diamond. If you don't sing at the top of your lungs when that one comes on, there's something wrong. This is now, we talked about the Beatles one, how, you'll go into a thrift store and you'll see something overpriced. And you go, I'm never coming back here. But then when you go to a thrift store and you have like a good experience, you find something and you got a good deal, generally you're going to go back. And this is like the one where I found that Gennett 78 a few weeks back, and I found some 45s. And I think the 45s were a quarter and the 78s were 75 cents. Well, the LPs are $1. So I went back, and it's not close to me, but I was sort of nearby. So I said, I'll go out of my way to go out there and see just to see how often they rotate stuff. And they did get a few different records, and I picked up a few. I got Air Supply's Greatest Hits, and it's nothing spectacular, but that soft rock, yacht rock stuff's getting big again. And this one goes between 4 and 10, and it's really clean. Like I said, yacht rock is definitely getting bigger. They got yacht rock tribute bands and stuff like that. I also got from 82, this one sells between $1 and 19, and it's super crisp, and it even has the plastic on it. The Officer and the Gentleman soundtrack, and you can see it still has the plastic on it, and it's got like ZZ Top and Up Where We Belong with Joe Cocker, and what else? Dire Straits, stuff like that on the soundtrack album. And you can see why people want that. Plus, of course, people remember the movie and love that movie, but Officer and Gentleman soundtrack, definitely worth picking up for $1. This one sells between $1 and 21. I think at $21, the thing better be sealed and mint. Christopher Cross's self-titled album, big yacht rock album here. Of course, it has Sailing on it, which is like everybody knows Sailing by Christopher Cross, let's face it. So you like the yacht rock, I got it. And this thing, look how, this thing's minty. Even the record's minty on this one. Is it going to set the world on fire value-wise? No. Is it as cool as the 78s I picked up this morning that are coming up in a future video? No. Okay, so you're going to want to watch that video when that comes out. 8-tracks. Why not 8-tracks? And I've actually got more records coming, too, so this isn't the end of the records. I got, this is a weird one. This is a bootleg 8-track of the Doors' L.A. Woman album. And tell me what's wrong with this 8-track. Okay, that's definitely not the album cover for LA Woman. In fact, I looked it up. The real 8-track has the correct LA Woman album cover on it. This one does not. Look, it doesn't say Elektra. It doesn't have any of a record company. There's no catalog number. I got it as more of like a historic thing at the thrift store because I looked it up afterwards. I looked up, there's a company on the back. It's like, what is this? Audio Dynamics Entertainment. I guess they did bootleg 8-tracks and they sold them like at gas stations. In fact, I kind of Googled it and I found a share 8-track that's like the same thing. No catalog numbers, no record company on it. On eBay for like $3. But this is the Doors, and it's kind of got like a cool, almost like a blacklight poster image on it. So I don't know if it's collectible to someone who is into the Doors or not, but why not? And they were selling it as like a pair with another 8-track. So I got Elvis's Worldwide 50 Golden Award hits, which these go for $5, and I've seen it on an 8-track site for $6.95. And it's in good shape too. But I figure if I ever get a 70s Cadillac, I gotta have that in there. So I paid like $4 for both of those. But that Doors one's kind of interesting. I said I don't know if it has any collectible value. I know Doors guys like weird stuff sometimes, so they might want that. I don't know. I'm just gonna do these individually because the table's already full. This was a estate sale I went to this morning, and I got 6 records, and unfortunately they were $5 each. I took chances. Some of them I basically got stuff for what they were worth. This one I kind of hit a home run. This is Masque d'Afrique, whatever it is. I can't pronounce it. It's got like almost like a tiki head on it, which wouldn't be Africa. But I picked this album. I'm like, I don't know what that is, and I turn around and I'm like, it's on Delphi. Huh? Yeah, Delphi. Richie Valens, all those guys on Delphi, like a rock and roll LA based label. And it's actually done by Bob Keane. I'm trying to see. I think he's actually playing on the record. And it's kind of a scarce one. Unfortunately, Dave and Trish wrote their name on there. But this one sells between 10 and 60. I'm guessing it's for guys that collect all the Delphi stuff. This one's got to be hard to find. The record's in really good condition. The sleeve is, it's kind of separating, but kind of a weird Delphi. It's supposed to be like folky African music, not rock and roll, but it definitely has a rock and roll connection with Bob Keane and Delphi Records. Weird. I never knew about that. I'm sure someone's going to comment, oh, I know about that record. Someone's going to comment. You watch. This is another one. This goes from 10 to 19. This is Mambo Theater with the Cal Theater Quintet. I looked at this and I go, that's got to be something. This one's on Fantasy Records, the same guy that did all your favorite Creedence Clearwater Revival records. No Creedence Revival this week. Sorry, folks. This one is on, you guessed it, red transparent vinyl. So that probably helps with the value, I'm assuming. And of course it's a Mambo record, but it does decent. I think it's probably good for like tiki or swinger bachelor pad stuff. So that's sort of a neat find. Next one. This one also came from there. This one only goes from $1 to $9. 61. It's Sandy Nelson. Let There Be Drums. This one comes up a lot. I grabbed it anyway. Why not? So there's that. I paid basically right in the middle there, even though the sleeve's the jacket's not the greatest. And of course I had to find some Ray Charles. This was a 62 pressing of a 1959 album. This one goes from $275 to $10. Unfortunately, I thought I was getting the original pressing, and I just had to get out of there because I had to go meet the guy with the 78s. Genius of Ray Charles. Still, I love having Ray Charles albums around because why not? Still, I bet I could get 10 for that, so it's more than I paid for it. But this one sells between $350 and $20 from 1962. Tears and Laughter, Dinah Washington with Quincy Jones. That one's actually in really crisp condition. But Dave and Trish had to write their graffiti on the back on this one as well. But still, other than that, it's in really nice condition. Man, what was with writing your name? I mean, you taking that to parties? I don't know. We got more Ray Charles here. Same estate sale. This is the 1960 pressing of a 1959 release. What I Say, Ray Charles. Tell me what I say. Of course, you know the song. Everyone knows that song. Goes for between 3 to 20, that actual pressing. Love Ray Charles. Obviously, we found other Ray Charles. Oh, there's Ray Charles in those 78s, too. You want to watch that video. Okay, when I get to it. I gotta, that's gonna take a while just to prep to do that video. I'm gonna have to look everything up before I do it. This one was neat. The guy who sold me the 78s this morning, he had some LPs in his car. Go figure. Why would you have LPs in your car if you were selling me 78s? I mean, we met at a 7-Eleven. It was like we were doing a drug deal at a 7-Eleven. We're doing a record deal at a 7-Eleven. It's COVID, man. It's pandemic time. I don't know. We got this is just sweet. I looked through his LPs. He said, so I bought 4 LPs. I paid $10 for all 4 for the whole thing. So $2.50 each. First one, this is neat. 1958. It's Teenage Party, Crows, the Cleftones, the Harptones, the Valentines, and the Wrens. So a doo-wop compilation on G Records, and this is like the first pressing from '58 with the red G label. So they did a later pressing with a different label, I think 2 years later. And this was actually re-released much later on cassette and CD. And it's in really nice condition. And this one goes, 1 to 25 on Discogs it sold for. Some guy's asking $225 for this on eBay. He's not going to get it, though. That's a lot of money. And on Pop Psych, it did say one sold for $26. So it was definitely worth, and I like the cover. They're like going through the records. They're like, hey, let's play this one, so I like cool album covers. I'm like one of those guys, I'll buy the record because I think the album cover is cool, even if, no matter what it is. This one I took a chance on. I wasn't going to go looking this thing up while the guy's standing there, but I did okay. This one's from 63, sells between 1 and 20. Herbie Mann returns to the Village Gate. So I like taking chances on jazz records if you haven't watched enough of my videos. Still has the plastic that's fallen off, so it's in really nice condition. So that was definitely worth paying $2.50 for. That one's in good shape. And we're down to like a couple more records, so we're almost at the end of this video, which is nice because it's going to be about a normal length for one of my videos. I bought this one. It was $1.50 to 10 from 1980. I didn't have this one. I have a lot of Blues Brothers records. Blues Brothers, Made in America. I'm sure someone's shouting, oh, I find those all the time. I usually find Briefcase Full of Blues or the soundtrack to the movie. Not this one. So I grabbed that one because I'm a massive Blues Brothers fan. And check it out. It's got the Blues Brothers band, and they're even doing like Green Onions and stuff. You know why. I'm not going to explain that to you. Then someone's going to explain it in the comments anyway. Like, oh, that was the Stax band, and they were part of BKT. Yeah, I know. We all know that. Okay, we know that. I'm in this mood today. All right, so the last record of the day. This one only goes from $1 to $6.50, which I thought it would be a little bit more. Your Twist Party with the King of the Twist, Chubby Checker. It's not the first press of it. I think it's the second. This has the orange and yellow Parkway label. It doesn't have the early I guess the first pressing has that earlier Parkway label. That's Chubby Checker. It's a Twist record. Why not? Look at it. It's really nice. It's really nice. So that's what I got for you this week. That's the stuff I found this week. I'm going to be hitting some more estate sales this weekend. I got to make sure I got a video for around Christmas and New Year's because, there's not going to be an estate sale, especially here in Pasadena because we have the Rose Parade and Rose Bowl coming into town, and nobody does anything else that weekend. So I got to make sure I got a video for you for that week as well. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe. Tell me about some of your favorite records I found and something else. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.